Hi guys, Celestia here. Can you believe we're on part 11? It certainly has been an interesting ride so far, learning about Fig and her family. In part 10, I still can't believe it, we had some very touching moments. Eldred and Fig professed their love for each other. Eldred asked permission to court Fig, and the two of them became betrothed. So we're going to continue from there. While the family, Fig's family, is sitting and they're talking about what it means to be betrothed, what it means to the clan, Falar says we must make a public announcement, if that's all right. So Eldred looks at Fig, and Fig's like, Eldred said, yes, Chief Falar, that's fine. He was like, it's Falar now. He was like, I'm sorry. He was like, I'm not sure I can ever get used to calling you just Falar. He said, it'll take me some time, but he said, I will work on it. Falar said, very well. So as they're sitting there making plans to have some kind of a celebration, in Falar's head he hears Shadow's voice say, there are people approaching, but I sense no ill intent. And Falar's a little shocked, not used to hearing another voice in his head. Goes to open his mouth to tell everyone that there's someone coming, and there's a knock on the door. Everybody jumps, of course. Eldred says, I'll get it. He said, you stay here, Chief Falar. Make sure that his dagger is close by so that he can use it if necessary. Falar smiles, thinking, yep, he's a keeper. Eldred goes and opens the door, and there, standing on the porch, are the elders. Ryo says, oh, Eldred, nice to see you. He said, is the chief at home? Eldred said, yes, the chief is at home. He turns, and Falar is standing where he can see them, and he says, please, Eldred, have them come in. Everybody stands as they come in. Glyneth is like, I'll go get some chairs and make some tea. Alwyn says, I'll help you, Glyneth. Fig says, I'll get some refreshments. We'll leave everyone to talk. Falar says, what's going on? Macathis says, we're going to wait for Alwyn to come back. He said, there are some things that are going on that we think you should know about, Chief. I said, very well. So the ladies come back in with refreshments and tea. Alwyn takes a seat. And now no one's talking. There's that awkward elephant in the room. Galan says, oh, for heaven's sakes. He says, fine, I'll say it. He said, Chief Falar, he said, what is going on with Doric? I says, what are you talking about? Doric's dead. He was like, is she? Looks at the others, and they're nodding at him to continue. He said, we all met last night because Doric has been visiting us in our dreams, telling us of horrible things to come, how we must be prepared, how we must support you. And what is this crap with Elfinor? Falar says, very well. He said, we'll deal with this business with Elfinor first, because he said, I think that is the greatest threat to the clan. Alwyn says, you think that Elthanor is a threat to the clan? He said, oh no. He said, I know she is. Alwyn. She said, well, how can that be? She was an elder. He said, well, she's not anymore. And she has it in for Cecilia. He said, I think everyone should be prepared for what I'm about to tell you. He said, although, from the looks on your faces, I don't think you're really going to be shocked. But Elthanor has gone mad. Ryo says, I was afraid of that. Kalan says, me as well. The other two nod. Ryo says, not to change the subject, Chief Falar, but why is Eldred here? He said, that's family business. He said, and everyone will find out soon enough. Okay, sorry. He said, I thought maybe you were asking him to be an elder. He said, I haven't asked him yet because he said I needed a vote on whether or not to swear Eldred in as an elder. He says, Falar says, after Doric died, she possessed Cecilia's body in order to look for the black unicorn. They all scoff, of course. He's like, I'm not joking. He said his name is Ebony. He has a mate named Snow. He said, and through his magic I was able to see what Doric saw. He said, and there are horrible things coming, as Doric has been telling you. Horrible things. He said, however, he said neither Ebony nor Doric were sure of whether it's one entity, many entities, or whatever. He said there's going to be an influx of magical creatures that are running from this thing, or these things. He said one of which is here already. And he has asked to be my bodyguard. His name is Shadow, and he's a Kiri. Glenn says a Kiri. Again, sure. Chief Falar, please. He said they're myth, legend. He said, like the black unicorn that I've seen with my own two eyes. Galan? Makathis says, are you sure about this, Falar? He said, yes, I'm sure. He said, Glyneth is going to meet with Snow, and they're going to fashion amulets for the clan. And everyone must wear them. They will be imbued with unicorn magic, and they will protect you from the Mind Raper, is what I've decided to call it. He said, but it doesn't just rape minds. He said, after it rapes your mind, it drives you mad, breaks you down. He's like, then it steals your life force. Alwyn gasps. She said, I've heard of this before. They all look at her. She said, but like the unicorns and the Kiris and the kobolds and some of the other things that we were taught as children, I thought it was a legend. Falar said, you know what this thing is? She said, I'm not sure, 100%. She said, but I know there are scrolls that my parents had that talk about this thing. She says, I will look for them. I will look for them, Chief Falar, and I will bring them to you. Maybe we'll be better prepared once we have them. Falar's like, yes, please. Alwyn, that would be a great help. Eldred said, one of the reasons why I'm here, everyone, is because someone was messing with Doric's pyre, or the remains of Doric's pyre, and I was concerned. So I came to the chief. They were like, well, of course, that was the right thing to do, Eldred. Ryo says, why is Doric visiting us in our dreams? How is she able to do that? Falar says, okay, I'm going to have to tell you everything. He said, so sit back, drink some tea, have some cheese and some bread, and please listen. So once again, Falar goes through the whole entire story about Cecilia's body being possessed by Doric to look for the black unicorn. The black unicorn coming and telling Falar everything that Doric saw, and how Cecilia is psychic and may very well be the new seer. Bacatha says she can't be new seer, she's human. Excuse me. Falar says we're well aware of that. He said, but would you rather us go blind into this? Not knowing when this thing is coming, where it's coming from, how many there are. He said, would you blind the clan because Cecilia is human? Or will you accept her help and put her in the position of seer? He said, she's not ready yet, of course. She still needs to be trained. And she's safe. And she's being trained. Owen says, I'm willing to bet she's with Mead and Rowan. Laura said, why would you say that? She said, who else could train a new seer? But the companions and quite literally sisters, almost literally sisters of our past seer. He says, Owen, for someone who is so young, you are so very wise. He said, this must stay between us. This cannot get out. Elthanor must not know where Cecilia is. He said, I must tell you something else. He says, Elthanor attacked me. They're all like, what? Oh my goodness. Oh, she can be put to death. At the very least, she can be outcasted. And there's a huge uproar. Falar sat patiently waiting for everyone to stop. When they realized that he wasn't reacting, they stopped talking. Glan said, what happened, Chief Falar? So he told them how she'd grabbed him, shook him, threatened Fig, threatened Glyneth, and especially threatened Cecilia. He said, she made it clear to me that there are members of the clan who think the way she does. He said, I have seen a great uprising. He said, the clan members are going to fight against the idea of Cecilia being seer because she is human. There are going to be those who think that she killed Doric to become seer. He said, but you have my word that that's not the truth. Doric herself told me that she was not strong enough mentally and physically to fight this thing coming. That she wished she could be here to tell us what to do. But that's why she got in touch with Ebony, the black unicorn. He is the one that's going to be here for us. He told me that he didn't want to brag, but that he was more powerful than we could ever know. And both he and Snow are now dedicated to the clan. Ryo's like, why would they do that? He said, Ryo, think for a moment. He said, you're a smart man. He said, why are we here? Why are we here in Gren Forest? Well, he said, well, let me tell you. He said, our ancestors came here, saw the horrible things that were going on with the magical creatures and all the other creatures in the forest, and decided to do something about it. They activated the Heartstone. They put up the barrier. and now the creatures are safe. You know very well anyone entering Grand Forest with ill intent is dealt with, and not necessarily just by our guards. Owen says, is that factual? He looks at Fig. And she says, yes, it is factual. She says, the creatures in the forest know when the barrier has been breached. It's like an alarm has been set off. And things react. Trees, plants, the animals themselves. And they take care of any trespassers, any ne'er-do-wells. McAthis says this. He said, I'm having problems wrapping my mind around this. He said, what was it that you said, Falar, about amulets? He said, yes. He said, Glyneth and Snow are going to fashion amulets for everyone, and everyone must wear them. If they refuse to wear them, if they lose them, take them off, whatever, they will succumb to the Mind Reaper. And they'll have to be dealt with. He said, we need to put it to a vote as to what we're going to do about Elthanor. Her madness is going to spread. It's going to spread amongst the weak-minded. There are always going to be those who oppose my rule, always. And there has been. Elthanor was so certain that she should be chief. And it's driven her mad. He says, and in some small way, he said, I can't help but think that this is this mind raper having effect on her. And it's contagious. He said, and as with anything that's gone bad, it must be destroyed. Galan says, you're suggesting that we destroy Elthanor? He said, I'm suggesting at the very least we outcast her. That way her venomous tongue can do no more damage. He said, today started out so well. He said, and now Alwyn says, you realize, Chief Falar, that the fact that Alwyn said, the fact, Chief Falar, that Elthanor laid her hands on you, attacked you, and threatened you. She said, you do realize that you can put her to death. He said, I know. He said, I would prefer not to go that route if I can help it. He said, but she is mad, everyone. He said, I've seen it. The madness in her eyes is frightening. He said, well, I have you all here. He said, we do need another elder. And it has been suggested that Eldred be that replacement. He said, what say you? Ryo says, I will back Eldred as a new elder. Alwyn says, you know you have my vote, Falar. Galan says, absolutely. They all look at McAthis. He says, I'm not sure. He said, I want to know why he's here. He said, I know that you said it was family business. He said, but your family business relates to clan business. Eldred looks at Falar. Falar looks at Fig. kind of all exchange glances. Falar nods. Eldred said, I am now betrothed to Fig. I have asked permission of Chief Falar to court his daughter with the eventuality of making her my mate. Everyone's so excited. There's oh my goodnesses, oh my gracious, how wonderful, how spectacular. Oh, congratulations, this is fantastic. Which is not what Glyneth thought would happen. Glyneth was the one that was holding back, telling them. Of course, she's trying to protect her daughter. But now she sees that they are truly happy for her. MacArthur said then very well. He said, I will also back Eldred as the new elder. Eldred says, why? He says, it's quite simple. He said, I now know where your loyalties lie. He said, inasmuch as all of us back our chief, he said, the fact that you will be his daughter's mate makes me feel better that he will have someone who definitely has his back. As a member of his family, your loyalty will be unquestionable. Eldred said, my loyalty to the chief and his family was unquestionable before, in my opinion. Alwyn says, oh, we're not saying it wasn't. Oh, Eldred, please, we're not saying that it wasn't. Shadow says, the crazy woman is coming. Falar says, can you waylay her? He says, I think you should talk to her. I think you should let the elders see the madness so that they'll know that the steps that they need to take are the right ones. He said, if things get out of hand, Eldred and I will take care of her. He says, very well, let her go. And that's where we'll leave part 11. Surprising reaction of the elders to the betrothal of Eldred and Fig. And even more surprising that Glyneth thought that they would not be happy about it. After everything that's happened, the death of Doric, the fact that, please excuse me, that she's been visiting them in their dreams, showing them horrible things to come, you would think that that little piece of happiness is something that should be cherished, and it will be. So in part 12, we'll find out what Elthenor has to say for herself. I'm sure it'll be interesting. So until we get together the next time, just remember, love yourself, love others, and especially love